G'day, welcome to Cam's Corner. Today we're talking about the bit plenty of people rush, fluff, or completely butcher in an investigation: data gathering. And yeah, I said butcher because that's what it looks like sometimes. People get excited about causes, root causes, charts, codes, arrows, fancy workshops. Meanwhile, the scene's been cleaned up, the CCTV's been overwritten, old mate's memory has already been marinated in 3 smoko conversations, and someone's filed the key document in the corporate Bermuda Triangle. Here's the hard truth. Investigations rise or fall on the quality of the facts collected early, not the quality of the template, not the font in the report, not how many times someone says human error like they've solved the mystery of the bloody universe. Facts first, analysis later. And that matters because data gathering is about finding evidence, not proving your favorite theory. That's the trap. Someone sees an incident, gets a whiff of what they reckon happened, and suddenly every question, every photo, every interview is bent toward confirming the story already in their head. That's not investigation. That's amateur fortune-telling with a high-vis vest on. The workbook says it plainly, and it's spot on. We're gathering information, not diagnosing. Same principle in the broader guide too. Establish the facts, identify contributing factors, review controls, recommend actions. Nowhere in there does it say, rock up and pin it on the first convenient punter. Funny that. So what do you do early? 3 things straight away. Preserve the scene, secure records, move before information degrades. Preserve the scene means control it. If emergency response is happening, fine, life comes first. But once that's stabilized, somebody needs to assume control. Note what's been moved. Stop the well-meaning cleanup brigade from tidying away the evidence. Get photos before anything changes. General shots, close shots, controls, barriers, equipment condition, lighting, surface conditions, all of it. The pocket guide even lists what to look for. Position of people, witnesses, equipment, valves, switches, guards, barriers, illumination, visibility, noise, housekeeping, weather. That list exists for a reason. Secure records means don't just wander around with a clipboard like it's 2004 and hope for the best. Grab documents early: procedures, permits, JSAs, training records, maintenance history, logs, rosters, incident history, photos, data logs. If there's video or audio, lock it down. If it's on a system with retention periods, don't assume IT will magically know what you need. They won't. They're busy, and your precious evidence might be halfway to digital heaven. Then there's information decay. Physical evidence changes with weather, people intervention, time, movement, cleanup. Witness memory? Even worse. Memory is fallible, malleable, and contaminated easily. People talk, they rationalize, they fill gaps, they hear what others reckon. That's why the guidance keeps banging on about interviewing as soon as practical. Not while someone's in shock or pain, obviously, don't be a clown, but as soon as it can be done properly. Because if you wait 3 days, let everyone have a toolbox chat, a WhatsApp debate, and a meeting with management, you're not getting recall, you're getting a group project. So the teaching point is simple. Early evidence collection matters, because later analysis can only ever be as good as the data underneath it. Rotten data in, rotten findings out. And then everyone acts shocked when the recommendations are weak, administrative, and the same sort of event pops up again 6 months later wearing a fake moustache. Right, once you stop the scene turning into a crime against evidence, you need a map. That map is PEEPO. People, environment, equipment, procedures, organization. 5 buckets. Dead simple. Not simplistic, simple. There's a difference. The trick a lot of investigators miss is this. PEEPO starts before you collect anything. That first brainstorm is your PEEPO Mark 1. You're not filling in findings yet. You're listing likely data sources. It's a roadmap, not a verdict. The workbook says give it about 20 minutes. That sounds about right. Enough time to think broadly, not enough time to disappear up your own backside. So what belongs in people? People involved. Witnesses, supervisors, key stakeholders, associated people. Their roles, training, experience, supervision, communication, fatigue history if relevant, work patterns, maybe previous 72-hour history for key personnel. What does not belong there? Your opinion that Dave's a cowboy. That's not data. That's gossip dressed as insight. Environment is the scene and conditions. Weather, light, noise, contaminants, temperature, work surface, access, visibility, layout, space, surrounding activity. In a warehouse, that might be aisle width, line markings, illumination, floor condition. In the field, it might be mud, wind, glare, slope, road condition. What doesn't belong? It was a dangerous environment. Mate, that's a conclusion. Tell me what made it so. Equipment is vehicles, plant, tools, infrastructure, PPE, alarms, controls, labels, condition, inspection status, maintenance records, modifications, design quirks. Practical example: forklift brakes, warning beeper, tyre condition, calibration, guard position, remote control readout. Not just equipment failed. Which bit? How? Compared to what standard? Supported by what evidence? Procedures is the documented and actual way the work was meant to happen. SOPs, work instructions, permits, risk assessments, JSAs, take fives, isolation steps, scheduling, revision control, whether the procedure was available, suitable, current, and actually used. And here's where people get sloppy. There was a procedure is not enough. A procedure can exist and still be rubbish, unavailable, unknown, impractical, or ignored. Then organisation. This is the big system stuff. Contractor management, planning, communication systems, training programs, supervision structures, operational feedback, previous incidents, risk management, management of change, resourcing, culture, learning. If you keep finding yourself writing, "That's just how we do it," congratulations. You've probably wandered into organisation and found something useful. Now, Mark 2 is where you go back into those same buckets and replace brainstorm sources with validated facts. Facts. Supported by evidence. Cross-check against your Mark 1 so you don't miss holes. Then separate contributing from non-contributing. I love this step because it stops people chucking every random detail into the stew. For example, weather was fine and visibility was clear might be factual and non-contributing. Keep it, but don't force it into the cause pile just because you wrote it down. Same with equipment was mechanically sound if that didn't contribute. Non-contributing facts still matter. They help rule things out. They give context. They stop you wandering off into fantasy land. And where people stuff this up most is mixing buckets. A worker not following a procedure? That's not automatically a procedures issue. It may sit under PEEPO as an action, with procedures as unavailable or unsuitable, and organisation as poor training or supervision. PEEPO doesn't diagnose causation by itself. It organises what you need to understand it. That's the whole point. PEEPO Mark 1 helps you think. PEEPO Mark 2 helps you prove. If Mark 1 is your shopping list, Mark 2 is what actually turned up in the trolley, minus the rubbish. Now let's talk witnesses and timelines, because this is where investigators either earn their keep or absolutely torch the job. Witness interviewing is not an interrogation, not a courtroom cross-exam, and definitely not your chance to show everyone you watched 3 crime dramas and now think you're a detective. The aim is to get as much accurate and relevant information as possible so you can understand what happened and build the timeline. Start broad. Free recall. Tell me in your own words what you remember. Then open questions. What happened next? Tell me about the work that was being done. What was your role? What communication happened? Nice and open. Let them talk. Active listening matters. Eye contact where appropriate. Nodding. Not interrupting. Brief prompts. Actual attention. Revolutionary stuff, I know. Then paraphrase. So, what you're saying is, that helps check you've understood them properly. After that, closed questions can clarify specifics, times, locations, who else was there, Which permit? What colour? What setting? Leading questions? Use with caution and only to test or clarify what's already been gained, not to shove words in their mouth. Loaded questions? Bin them. How careless was he? Is garbage. Neutral language. Always. The do's and don'ts are gold, honestly. Interview as soon as practical. Prepare. Explain your role and purpose. Private setting. Get permission before recording. Allow support people if requested. Avoid jargon. Stay focused. Let them take a break. Summarize at the end. Ask if they've got anything else and whether they have ideas to prevent recurrence. That last bit can be a beauty. Workers often know exactly where the system's held together with hope and cable ties. Then use all that to build your timeline. Start with the incident, the point where control was first lost. Not just the injury outcome, that distinction matters. Then work backwards as far as necessary to understand the pre-incident events and conditions. Then forwards until the hazard is under control. The guide is explicit on that. Pre-incident, incident, post-incident. Clear, concise, logical, with dates and times where you can get them. A decent timeline helps you spot conflicting information, missing data, parallel activity, and key events worth analysing later. It also stops the report reading like someone tipped a filing cabinet down the stairs. If a person not involved in the investigation can't look at your timeline and understand the sequence, it's not finished. And here's the kicker. Good data gathering doesn't just make analysis easier, it makes it honest. Better facts give you better timelines. Better timelines give you better analysis. Better analysis gives you better recommendations. Better recommendations give you a fighting chance of fewer repeat incidents. That's the whole game. Data gathering is not the glamorous part. It's the discipline part. It's the bit where you resist the urge to diagnose too early. Keep your bias in check. Ask proper questions. Preserve what matters. And build the picture before you start explaining it. Do that well, and your investigation might actually teach the business something useful. Do it badly, and all you've built is a neat-looking document full of expensive nonsense. That's Cam's Corner for today. Next time you're investigating, slow down, gather properly, and remember, facts first, theories later. We'll keep digging next episode.